Hello, guys. Welcome to Monitoring and Evaluation Made Simple. I'm your host, Coach Alexander. If you're here for the very first time, please subscribe to this channel because on a regular basis I post videos on M&E. So we're continuing on our 8 parts series on types of project evaluation methods. So this one is part 2. But before I go any further, in case you don't know me, I'm Coach Alexander. I've been doing this for 10 years now. And there is a 6-month program we are going to be starting in January 12th. It's a one-on-one coaching program in monitoring and evaluation. So if you are very interested in this program, please write to me on coachalexander23@yahoo.com. My email address is in the description below. We also have the free ebooks which we're giving away. You can access these freebies in the description link below. If you have any challenges, simply write to me and I'll be happy to send it to you myself. I also have this course, the Udemy, how to set up monitoring and evaluation system step-by-step walkthrough. So you can find this course on Udemy. It's very cheap. As you can see, it's about $12. So I'm sure you have every reason to enroll. Okay, so as usual, this video is quite long, but please take full advantage of the timestamps in the description below so that you don't have to watch everything if you don't want to, but just focus on the areas that are of key interest to you. So without wasting any more time, let's get straight into it. So the first evaluation method I want to talk about is the rapid appraisal, because this is the one I'm more familiar with, okay? So the rapid appraisal is a good approach when doing evaluations. And what makes it a rapid appraisal? Well, maybe let me just read what it says here. It says rapid appraisal can be characterized as a multi-method evaluation approach that uses a number of data collection methods. Rapid appraisal is essentially the use of a mix of the above described methods in order for decision makers to obtain timely, relevant, accurate, and usable information on development programs and projects. So that is what the rapid appraisal evaluation method is. So there are different types of data collection methods that you use, and these are the ones which are listed in front of you. You've got the key informant interviews. You've got the focus group interviews. You've got the community interviews. You've got the structured direct observation and the surveys. So in this evaluation method, you see, I'm sure now you can understand why this is a very familiar approach, because I'm familiar with it. I've used it before. I'm pretty sure if you've been doing M&E for quite some time, you'll agree with me that you've used this kind of methodology before. So it has a mixture of different data collection methods. So now what are the advantages? Well, the first thing is that using this method is going to give you quick and timely information. Because if you look at all those methods I showed you, the different data collection methods, they are quite they are quite intense, they are quite informative when it comes to getting data. So that's one advantage you get from using the rapid appraisal technique. It is also relatively less expensive than different other approaches. But then another advantage is that it can make rapid reporting possible and help flag the need for continuous corrective action. So this is one of the things which really defines monitoring and evaluation. It's the corrective action, the need to take corrective measures. So the rapid appraisal, because it's a rapid evaluation, it's going to give you that continuous um, corrective measures that you may need to take. So now the only problem that is there with this, because you're using different kinds of data collection approaches, it is usually a challenge to aggregate the findings, okay, because they are using different approaches. So it can be challenging in the issue of aggregation. Okay, so that's the only disadvantage I could think of. But now, maybe in case you don't really know these data collection methods, I feel that I can briefly explain each one of them so that you just have a clearer understanding what it is we're talking about. So the key informant interviews is one of those data collection methods. So if you are contracted as an evaluator, you may wish to identify key informants because these people actually have first-hand knowledge on a particular topic of interest, okay? Especially if you are doing these interviews in a specific area, okay? It may be necessary to have this first-hand information, not only from people who have knowledge on the topic, but you want to get information from people you can trust and people who are reliable. So that's why key informant interviews are quite important. So evaluators are concerned about maintaining the informant's anonymity. Sometimes it may be necessary to do so because maybe these key informants do not want to release their identity, which is well accepted anywhere you go because of confidentiality issues. So, such things you as an evaluator always need to be keeping that in mind. So, you select certain individuals who are well versed in the topic at hand and you interview them one on one. The other data collection method is the focus group discussion. So, this one is quite inexpensive because you get to discuss issues with a group of 7 to 10 people, okay? And usually these discussions are quite informative because the group you select, the group you have these discussions with, can actually give you quite a wealth of information. So, as a evaluator, your guide, you should be guided by some kind of a discussion guide that helps you constructively probe on a particular issue. You don't want to be too, you are discussing quite all right, but you don't want to get off topic because sometimes it's easy to get off topic on certain issues. But when you have an interview guide, a discussion guide, you are focused, you are zeroing in on the key issues that need to come out. So this usually lasts 1 to 2 hours, but I have to tell you that the longer you have these discussions, the more likely you are going to get off key. It's usually good to have these things as short as possible. 45 minutes to an hour, I think, in my view, is sufficient. So you should be flexible, all right? And also get everyone to participate regardless of their background, age, social background, whatever. Get everyone to participate so that you can get all the information you need. Another interesting data collection method is the community interviews. So I'm sure you understand this so well, guys. You go into a community and you get to interview community members. Okay, you can do that one on one. All right, usually that's what works best. You go and interview these individuals, especially if they are the people who are actually getting the support from a particular project. So you get to meet them, you have meetings, you interact with them, get the information, and then get the full benefit out of your discussions. Then another one is, I think we talked about, okay, sorry about that. I went back. So the direct observation. So direct observation is quite interesting because You, as the evaluator, you just simply document what you've seen or what you've heard in the project site. So you go in, you show some physical presence, and then you document what is actually happening. So it's actually coming from the eye of the evaluator. Who is you? You get to understand what is going on and you simply report on that. So that's another way of collecting data. Then another interesting one is also the surveys. So a survey is a method of gathering information from a sample of people, okay? Traditionally with the intention of generalizing the result to a larger population. So a survey, guys, let me put it this way. Let's say you are implementing a project and that project is targeting 10,000 people. In as much as you would want to interview all that 10,000, it may not be possible because clearly you don't have the resources, you don't have the manpower, you don't have the time or the finances. So what you do instead is sample. So out of that 10,000, you maybe select maybe 500 people, okay, and then you go out there and you do constructive interviews, and then you get to understand what is actually happening on the ground. Okay, so that's all for now, and I sure hope you enjoyed that presentation I had on one type of evaluation method. I'm hoping that if you haven't watched the video on the my 2020 lessons and also how to derive the lessons learned from a project, I'll really urge you to look at that video because it's quite informative. So until we meet again, I've been your host, Coach Alexander, and see you on the other side. Bye.